more PlayStation games are coming to PC, starting with
Yeah, that's
Days
the one. Yeah.
Gone. Yes, so more games, more PlayStation quote unquote exclusives are coming to PC.
So I said this a while ago that we were going to see a lot more games coming to PC and probably cozying up to Epic. Um, we still don't know. I don't know if that's changed now because like that deal may not necessarily be as solid right now, just due to the fact that Epic's been doing some crazy stuff lately. But yeah, more Sony games are going to be coming to PC. They realize that they're in trouble right now. Is that they're certainly in trouble in certain parts of the world right now, where their sales for consoles are down, 80% of where they were for the previous consoles. So that's not good for them. Like that is definitely not good. There are places in the world where there are. I mean, here you can't keep a PlayStation on the shelf for more than 5 minutes. But in other places in the world, they have like warehouses full of this stuff that, of course, is region locked, so they can't, move those units to another place in the world because they're region locked for some odd reason. Why you would region lock a console ever is, again, I don't understand these companies. They're like, how can we screw over our customers, you know, the most? I remember when somebody like they went to Japan for a semester, and they got there and they're like, "Why isn't my PlayStation working?" Like and they were informed that, oh well, it's region locked, so it's going to auto detect where you are in the world, and if you're anywhere other than where you bought it, then it's just not going to run. It's just going to brick itself, and then you're just not going to have the ability to play any video games on it until you get back to, again, where you bought it from. How that is allowed to happen is completely beyond me. I really don't understand. I
Yeah, that's a
really don't
mess.
understand.
That is
It's
utterly
seriously
messed up.
messed up. But at any rate,
There's a comment
yeah,
from Dragos in the chat saying region locking equals hardware profits for the local area.
hmm
Right, but I mean, really, if everyone's going to try and ship their console from overseas because that's cheaper than buying it locally, then you're just charging too damn much. I mean, come on.
yeah. There are some serious problems that you have with your marketing company if you can't figure out a way to deal with that. But then again, we've seen them utterly fail this launch, so that is quite possibly quite normal at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you really be that surprised?
Yeah.
So I would say right now that basically, like, this is probably going to be a move that's going to start to ramp up once they see how much money they're making on PC. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be harder and harder and harder for them to convince their board that it's not a good permanent solution or idea. Um, Now we'll always see exclusives. Like we're
Oh
always going
yeah.
to see exclusives, but the fact is that they're going to start doing this more often. And again, I called this, what was it, over a year ago now? This was going to be the new wave of gaming. We were going to see more and more PC focus, and then things that resemble kind of more or less PCs, right? Like there's still a lot of like there is a future for streaming games. Um, Now it has been set back mightily by this whole Stadia fiasco, but we are going to start to see a little bit more of it down the road. But people understand now that when you're streaming a game, you don't own that game. Like if you want to fix that game, if you want to have a bug fix for that game, and you as a modder can do it, or a modder, or you're on a site with these mods, and they can fix that program for somebody who's got a physical copy of that on their desktop, locally, they can fix that, but they can't fix this stuff. So again, this I mean, it gets even worse now, than what it was with the whole console thing. But now with this whole, like, you don't technically own anything, and at the switch of a button, your entire account and all your stuff is just vanished, and you can't even play it offline. Like that is a serious concern. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen in the future with with these companies, but yeah, we're seeing more of them move onto PC and PC like stuff because it's just the better way of doing it. It really is just the better way of doing it, and you don't even need a really expensive machine to run some of these games now. So yeah, yeah. Thank God for Steam. Thank God
Yes.
for
I mean,
option.
yeah. I mean,
Options.
digital distribution still has some of those issues,
Mm.
Mhm.
but it's better than subscribing to a streaming service unless you just absolutely don't care about owning, having that in an account, having that in your personal library. Like I can still get, I can go back and I
Hmm.
can download games I bought 10 years ago on Steam and,
Mhm.
just play them.
And again,
Yeah.
hate I don't hate consoles, and I certainly don't hate the people who play consoles. I just think that for a very long time now, and Microsoft was the chief, you know, problem with this through the last generation. Like they were the biggest problem starting when they did their initial announcement, and then for the next like 6 years after that, it was the worst possible thing that you could do to your brand, to gamers in general. And now we see that PlayStation's moving that way, and Nintendo's always been a little bit that way with the way that they do their price handling and stuff like that. um, and it really sucks, and it's not fair to the consumers. And that's what I've been harping on all this time, is like the consumers need more power in their hands when it comes to doing this stuff, when it comes to interacting with their hardware, with their software, with their rights as players. And so yeah, we I want and I hope to see more of this stuff on PC. I hope and I want to see more modding, more player control over something. Again, if you buy a work of art and you go home and you want to add a tree to the picture, if it was a painting, you you have every right to do that. If you want to take a record and beatbox it again, that should be your right. I really think that this is the future, and I think that people who are against it are um I don't think it's a healthy concept. I really don't, because basically you're just giving power to giant corporations and saying, yes, please control everything I do. And I think that's the last thing we want to do.